Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Sports CS Ababu Namwamba has made a very ridiculous move. And I want us to look at that move in this video and try just to interrogate what could be behind the scene headache for William Ruto and Kenya Kwanza administration ahead of the coming Jamhuri Day. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and also kindly watch our video. The more you support this video, the more you also help to grow this channel. Look at the letter in your screen. That is a letter that has been written from the Ministry of Sports and Culture, sent to the FKF and asking the FKF to reschedule a football match that was between FC Leopards and Sofapaka to be played in Nyayo Stadium on 12th, that is on Monday. That game was supposed to be played on the weekend. Now, Namwamba is asking that football match to be rescheduled so that it can be played on Jamhuri Day, the very day of that event, in Nyayo Stadium. And what is ridiculous is this. That football match is going to be just a KPL match, just like any other one. And the results will count. The only results that they will use, the league will use, is the one for 30 minutes, for the 90 minutes normal time. But the football match will extend to extra time. Then that extra time will be just for penalties if it ends draw. So the interesting bit here is the rationale behind making this move is to make sure that you can take people to the stadium. I want to support it on this ground. That number one, this is an opportunity for the Kenyan sport for the government to maybe show some good relationship with the Kenyan sport. I've always maintained that just like we have public investment in education, in health and other sectors, the government of Kenya needed to invest in sports. Also, the way I realized, especially in the football side, I've realized we have good investment in the athletics, but we needed to invest also to be specifically in our football. So in terms of bringing that relationship, I support it. But Waziri's decision is not to show that exclusively. But this is a strategy that is just being laid to make sure that you take the Kenyan people to the stadium. Why am I doing this? President Ruto spoke, I think, in some Youth Innovation Week somewhere, and he said that he wants to rename, or rather to theme the Jamhuri Day to be Jamhuri Innovation Day. And instead of inviting the usual guests that we are used to, presidents of other countries or maybe people, dignitaries, is going to invite very prominent personalities on tech, maybe from other parts, from the other parts of the world, and maybe they're going to give speeches to the Kenyan youth on matters tech. The intention of that was to show people and to try to attract the youth so that we seem to be doing things on a digital way. And the promise went further by the PS Tanui saying that youths who are going to attend the Jamhuri Day event will win some scholarships. How? This were all attempts to make sure that that Jamhuri Day event is made a youth affair, so that youth can interact with that Jamhuri. They can actually buy the concept and come for that Jamhuri Day event. I am not shocked by these strategies, because the last Mashujaa Day, which was the very first public holiday that William Ruto presided over as the president after he was sworn in, was a big shame. When the media covered areas where seats were left empty. So the turnout was ridiculously low. And perhaps it is because of location. So this time around, they had to bring it Nyayo. Nyayo is a bit, not as a big kilometer has access. I also tried to make my way actually to Nyayo to see the mood of Kenyans. And this have been made to let the Kenyan people interact with it. I join the voices and the people that are saying that we needed to leave Madaraka Day just to be Madaraka Day, at least for once. We should not. I've had the privilege of speaking to the elders of this country, and one of the things that the elders don't really feel happy with the government of the day is the fact that we are suppressing history. We are suppressing our story. And it is good, it is really good to know where we are coming from so that the Kenyan people can reflect and know that, okay, we've come from somewhere. We should not make it like, okay, tunasonga mbele, it's digital. The Kenyan people, if we can be reminded of the fight and the trouble and the struggle for us to have independence and to get our own self-rule, it will really boost the patriotism. We needed to tell our story. And my good, our elder, Koigo Mwere, was telling me that the government of the day is suppressing the history. It's suppressing the history politically because that keeps Raila's clout active. He remains one of the most now prominent leaders still in the political space, and is holding history, custodian of our history, especially the second liberation and so on and forth. We needed to tell our people where we're coming from, but we seem to be suppressing that. So I support William Ruto integration of technology experts, IT experts, or rather innovation experts from the rest of the world, but I don't think we should make a departure from what is the ideology of the Jamhuri Day. Now, I can tell you, when Raila held Jamhuri Day event, the Kenyan government dispatched the intelligence men there. And they were looking for things. And I'm just making this to know that there are things that we are making. Is if that crowd, because it is midweek, and such a crowd can walk with Raila all the way from Gidura, from the Komba, Kaloleni, Akongeni, and all that area, and sneak and escort Raila to that stadium on a midweek, and it is full, and it is that mood, then it tells you that we have a problem. I'm saying this, that it is not that many people have looked at it as Raila Odinga's fanatical, that Raila has fanatical supporters. I think that that's justifying a problem. We have a problem. Government of Kenya will be very happy if Kenyans, because Rigathi Gachagua has been saying that Kenyan people are very busy na makazi zao, and so politicians should not bother them. But what that crowd was showing is that hawana kazi. Watu hawana kazi, people are desperate, and people are in tears. So it actually just shows you the problem. And I can tell you, that is why Raila is calling those rallies. Those rallies are not pushing. I agree that it's a very small thing to William Ruto. But those rallies are technically used to show government that things are not good. I wish that even as we create the office of the opposition leader, we still go to the people. We still organize that, because on the consultative forums, Kenyans, the government gets to understand the feel on the ground. Kwamba vitu kwa ground ni tofauti. That is what people have realized. And I think government intelligence might have known very well that because of that, the turnout in Jamhuri will be low. The other problem that emerged is, when Raila talked about parallel tutakuwa na Jamhuri yetu, the media applauded that story and magnified it as a parallel Jamhuri Day event. Let me make it clear. There is nothing like parallel Jamhuri Day event. No. There can only be one Jamhuri Day celebration and a parallel rally. But when that rally was framed as parallel Jamhuri Day, it justified that okay, hata nisipoenda Nyayo na niende Jakaranda, bado nitakuwa celebrate my Jamhuri Day. Well, the truth here is, in terms of what is in the constitution legality, it is what was in Nyayo that a Jamhuri Day event. But when media picked up that trap by Raila team that we were organizing a parallel Jamhuri Day event, we created the split. And so I think even William Ruto had to look for Raila and push by all means to make sure that the notion of a parallel Jamhuri Day event there was going to embarrass the head of state further. We can't, and I'm wondering, why don't we just ferry the youths as we used to do in the campaign, during the campaign period? What's the problem? If we can't get the natural crowd, and the crowd is a test of legitimacy or a test of the government reception, we've decided that the perception value, we can only make a good perception of a huge crowd. Then what stops government machineries from making sure that ukitaka kujaza hiyo stadium utaweza toa watu hata Thika, can pull people from other areas na ukuje ujaze? Why don't we go about that direction? Because the problem, and I want to help the guys that are advancing our president, all the interventions we campaigned on nitaingia na change, as in we campaigned on an overnight success. We told the youth that we have an overnight success. But on reality, the interventions, government is lacking short-term youth solutions. Short-term. I can tell you that we may have a good ambition, and just look at interventions on food security, building 100 dams to irrigate the farmland, fertilizer subsidy for the farmers, in the GMO maize. Probably those three interventions, let me just look at three. All those are not going to reduce the price of unga tomorrow, not next month, not even next year. In fact, how many years will it take us to build 100 dams? Not there. We've spoken about creating jobs. And if you look at our intervention in creating jobs, we've removed Kazi Mtaani and brought in Mjengo, affordable housing, so that we can absorb, the youths can be absorbed in affordable housing. As where I'm seated here, I've been keeping track of affordable housing projects. There is one, I realized it was launched in Mavoko, the Kibera one, and the other one I remember, there is one also in Kiambu and Homa Bay. Now, I've only kept track of the four, and not the whole of Homa Bay County, affordable housing in some one place. Then, can you compare that with a nationwide project that was employing people close to millions? It's a different. So, if someone wants to manage the Kenyan youth, take it very clearly. You can't return Kazi Mtaani, maybe because you felt it was an opportunity to swindle funds and that money was going to people's pocket. Get at least a short term in the waiting, because the youth is impatient. That's why watasema, you're going for that celebration. The problem is that, and no one is talking about it. That is the problem. Our vijana hawana kazi. They don't have, and the cost of living is high. That's number one. The second problem I can tell is this. When we made government, the administration started on a wrong footage, prioritizing personalities. And prioritizing personalities is this, going after personalities. You know, Kidoti was on question. At one point, those who worked with President Uhuru Kenyatta, at some point when we left, we were in the Chereras and so. So when you took that direction, when you go after people, we seem to have lost the priority. Even if we did not have long-term solutions to address the unemployment and the matters. In fact, the biggest problems we are having in this country, is unemployment. And the issue of the price of the goods. And even if we could not address those things, we would have kept the conversation there. We would have kept, then don't give us the side shows. Don't give us the Cherera side shows and Kinyotis and the disbandment of SSU. Don't give us those dramas. Just keep the conversation about, even if you're not talking, even if you're not offering solution, but you seem to have kept the conversation. The Kenyan youth may have seen that we are going after personalities. And you know what it has created? It has created antagonism. Because look at the reason why Raila was heading to the street. Raila was calling for that public consultation because of, number one, the Cherera issue. And if you follow his speech in Utawala, he also said that we've formed government by only rewarding people who voted for you, but not the other people. So that antagonism has created a perception that us, we are left out. The divisive aspect. In simple terms, there is lack of that. We've not created the harmony. So that disharmony will tell you that if you look at the vote in Nairobi, if 50% decide, 50% of people who are active in politics, not Kenyans, not all Kenyans will go to Jamhuri, but they're only people who are active. So 50% of people who are active in politics will decide they're going to attend, and 50% of those who are inactive, those who are active says they're not attending. I can tell you, you will end up with some 2,000 people in Nyayo. It's because we've created that antagonism, that us versus them. I mentioned this in my analysis that we should avoid that. Lastly, the media coverage on Mashujaa Day. Oh, I'm telling you, the administration have a very bad relationship with the media so far, and we've been speaking about the pending bills on the advertisement, and that's why there is a bit of that layoff. I was just reading today, Radio Africa is laying off nearly half, so nearly 60% of the population of the employees, and it's just looking crazy. So because we've done that, and media is looking at you, in any slight challenge they make, any slight mistake they make, they're gonna applaud it. They're gonna make sure that they magnify it. And on this, I want to just believe one thing, that President Ruto has been, election had been done. He is the president. Whether 5 people or 6 people go to the stadium, it should not be a problem. So instead of going to interfere with the football match, and we were banned from, FIFA just banned that because of political interference. Look at a situation where we want to use a football match for a political benefit of bringing people to the field. I don't think, I don't just buy it. It's in good spirit for the government to build a good relationship with the sports fraternity, but it doesn't look good if we can use our sports to bring people to the stadium for the politician. I am not sure whether political fans are also football fans. There could be a gap. What's your take? And kindly subscribe to our channel.